Okay, so this is Claude Code, so easy your mom could understand it. And today we are going from zero, I know literally nothing about AI and Claude Code, to I have Claude Code on my desktop and I have a semi-good understanding of how I can start using it in my everyday life. So my name is Kimball Mueller. I've been a technologist for as long as I can remember, being, that 5-year-old that was putting the VHS together, if you even know what a VHS is anymore. And today I am literally making this video for my parents, both my mom and my dad, who are entrepreneurs and want to start using Claude in their everyday life to work on their businesses, to speed up their, workflows, whatever it may be. They want to use Claude and they want to start using AI more than just like their chat feature on their phone. So if that sounds like you, stick to the end, because I'm literally going from everything to I don't have Claude installed on my computer to, okay, it's good there and I can start using it. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so I'm literally showing you from ground zero. So I'm not gonna reinstall things, but I'm gonna show you exactly where to go. So let's hop onto Google. What you're gonna do is you're gonna first thing, you gotta get a Claude Code subscription. You're not going to be able to do anything without Claude Code. There are new local models, but for anybody that's just starting out, just go to Claude Code, right? You're going to look up Claude Code, just like that. It's funny, ChatGPT literally comes up first, but scroll down till you see Claude sign in. So I obviously already have one, but it'll take you to a sign in. So, I'll continue with Google. That's how I usually do it. And I'll sign in. Yep, I'm already signed in with my account. But here's the thing. You're obviously not going to get to this page. You're going to get to the Claude pricing page. So yours will probably look more like this. So here's the pricing tiers. And obviously you can see that Claude, you can use it for free and you can just use the chat version, but that is not the same thing as the pro version or the max version. And I'll just highlight right here what is included, and it's Claude Code and Claude Cowork. Claude Cowork, I'll make a future video on, but we just want Claude Code. So you need to get this pro version, $17, literally $17 to increase your entire workflow, worth every single penny. So, you'll just hit try Claude, you'll go through the sign up feature, and obviously you'll put your credit card in and you'll get set up, and then you'll get to this window. Boom, Kimball Mueller returns, and it will have your name, of course. But that's good. Once you have Claude Code, then you can move on to the step that's a little bit more evasive. You guys have already seen this kind of interface. It looks like chat, right? You can talk to it and you can say, hi, Claude, how are you? And it'll start responding. But that, let me just note something here really quickly. There are 3 levels of Claude Code. And what I'm showing you right here is the most basic feature. So this is chat interface, and it's basically a glorified Google search. And the 3 things that Claude offers is Claude, this interface, Claude Code, which is what we're going to get to at the end, and then the middle tier, which is Claude Cowork. And I won't show much of that, but you have to download a desktop app, which now that you have the subscription, you can have access to. And anyway, those are the 3 tiers. Let's keep going, getting Claude Code onto your computer. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to get what we call an IEM, which I'll put on the screen what that stands for. But basically what that allows you to do is talk with your computer and the files that are on it, rather than just some random cloud somewhere in the internet. So what you're going to want to do is get either Anti-Gravity or Visual Studio Code. And Anti-Gravity, they're the exact same thing, more or less. Anti-Gravity is Google's version, and Visual Studios is its own enterprise. So I just go ahead and look up Visual Studio. It'll bring you to, this, by Microsoft. I scroll down here and I find Download Visual Studio Code, Mac, Linux, Windows, right? So you're going to go ahead, you'll get pulled to this page right here. And then on this page, if you're running a Windows, right, do it for Windows. If you're using Linux, then you can do one of these models, or you can do the Mac. So obviously you're going to click that. You click on that, and then you'll come in. It'll install top right? So you can see that that's installing right here. And then once that's installed, you're going to want to open that up. So obviously I already have it on my computer, so I'm not going to go through the exact install process, but just know you would double click on this. You would install on your computer. If you don't know how to install a file on your computer, or an app on your computer, look it up really quickly. It's not that difficult. It's like installing Google Chrome. So just make sure you can download that. And then once you've downloaded that, you're gonna want to open it. So let me just show you what that looks like. So I'll go ahead and open that for me. So once it's open, honestly, it's not gonna look like this. It's probably gonna look like this. Yeah. Perfect. So this is Visual Studio Code. Actually, I kind of like it smaller. And in here, this is like where everything magical happens. So for those of you that don't know what this is, Visual Studio Code is basically like a Word document for code. So this is where people will come in and they will start to code things. They can like open it up on their computer locally. And if you've heard the term run it locally or locally, running it locally, let me just explain something to you. Everything that exists on the internet, every app you use, every website is hosted on a physical computer, a hard drive. So like literally you can have a computer that's on your little computer. As long as it's always on, you can access it. So when people talk about the cloud, when they talk about local models, the cloud is basically you have an internet connection to a computer somewhere in the world. And then there's information stored on that computer. Like there's no such thing as files in the cloud, unfortunately. That would be awesome if they could just live up there in free space. But no, it really just means you're renting somebody's computer from them. And that's why you pay, monthly subscriptions for Apple iCloud or Google Photos. Everything that you have on there is stored somewhere on a physical drive on the world. So that's a really good distinction to note. So anyway, open up Visual Studio Codes. And then to get everything working, what we're gonna do is connect Claude Code. So you're gonna come over here to this left side and you're gonna look for the extensions panel. So you'll just kind of click here around until you find it, but you're gonna find something called extensions. Once you see that, you're gonna go to the search bar and you're gonna search up Claude Code for, VS Code. Once you get that, this should be the first thing that popped up here. So what you're gonna do, obviously, like I have it installed, there's going to be an install button right here and you're going to click install, boom. And once that's good, you're going to see that there should be a little pop-up over here. And once you have this little Claude Code, like that's how you can open it. So that's how you'll get here to Claude Code on your computer. So once you've purchased the subscription and then downloaded Visual Studio Code and made the connector, you're pretty much ready to go to get working with Claude Code. Now that we have Claude installed, you're going to need to get permissions set up. So it's gonna ask you a lot about getting my computer set up. So obviously I already have the permissions, but I'll just go ahead and say, if I were to, actually I'll just talk to it. No, it's fine. If I were to have just installed you on a Mac or PC, what commands do I need to run so that you run properly? Guys, one of the best things about Claude and just code in general, once you have these things on your computer, you can literally, if you don't know what to do, if you got stuck somewhere, you can literally just tell it to do it. So here it says, okay, if you're on a Mac, go to the install.js. If you haven't already installed this from Homebrew, you have to install Homebrew. And then you need to be installing all of these little things. I am not a programmer to the core. Yes, I understand Python. Yes, I understand code to a very, above par comprehension. But honestly, when it talks about all of these things, I'm not technical in what they do. So if for whatever reason the code is not working, literally just go ahead and say, okay, Claude, run the commands to make all of that work. Literally it will do it. It will literally go ahead and make sure that everything's going, and it's going to check for me. So right now, this is perfect. It just came up on the screen with a bash command. And a bash command basically is anything that happens in the terminal, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But what it does is, once you've had this installed, there's versions of it will edit automatically or will edit by itself. And, it will edit automatically, or it will ask you for permissions to edit. And you always want to just start with the permissions. This way you can go through. Just know that all of these things is way too complicated. It's just asking for permission to run commands on your computer. And so you're going to say yes, it's going to go ahead and check that. So for me, it's checking to see if it's in, which obviously it is installed, but for you, it might not be installed. So literally just say Claude, I'll type that out for you. Claude, make all the necessary installments to make you work properly. Like literally that simple, guys. And I just hit that, and like he goes ahead and thinks, and he already checked, so everything's up to date. So if you get stuck for whatever reason, something isn't working, like just tell Claude, do this, and it will automatically go out and run all of the technical commands that you didn't know that you needed to know. And then everything will work perfectly. And anytime that I have like a situation where things aren't gonna run properly, like I literally just run this command. So once Claude is completely installed on your guys' computer, this is fun. This is where like the real power can start to work. So the first thing you wanna do is honestly, open up a new tab. So you can always do that by just coming over here and clicking on the little Claude logo. Every single time you can literally just like, I'll even show you. If for whatever reason you come to your computer and it's empty again, you can literally just like come over here, go back to the extension tab, click on Claude Code, and then click on the little logo. Boom, then it's up. And you can always just like close out of any of these if you want to keep your space looking nice. So I love it because literally on the screen, it's like make a Claude.md file for instructions. Claude will read every single time. So guys, this is what you need to know. This is like the hype behind Claude Code. Every single time that AI does a task, it has to obviously have context, right? And so giving Claude your Claude.md file basically says like, here is your context. And this is who I am. Like just make everything about me. And like we keep it on what we call a markdown file because it's to the point, concise, and it doesn't take a lot of context. So like when Claude does all of its tasks, it doesn't have to read 10,000 pages about who you are. It just reads this one like document and knows everything about who you are. So today we're gonna set up a markdown file and we're gonna set up some skills so that, you know, you can be successful with Claude Code. And those are the two things that are super important to like, just sort of like get Claude working how you want it to. Because like in all reality, Claude Code, like it has a knowledge base, right? It can do things. You can tell it to, you know, give you a document, but maybe you want the document to always like have pink titles, or maybe you always want the document to be split into 3 pages a certain way. And just because Claude can do all the things doesn't mean it knows exactly how you want it to be done each and every time. So the benefit of building skills and these MD files is any single time you have a task that you need to give to Claude, like make something or file something or do something a certain way, it will always reference your MD file and it will always reference your skills so that it does it as you like tailored it to be. So that way you can just do the skill once, you can get it set up and you can tailor it to how you want it. And then every single time thereafter, it will give you the exact same version of output that you asked for. Obviously, if you have different input, it's not gonna be the exact same thing. So it'll be like in the same way. And I'll show you some examples of like what that is. But I really just want to emphasize like this tool doesn't have to be complicated. Like you can ask it any questions at any time and it will show you exactly like how and what you need to do. So literally like when I first started this, I'm like, okay, Claude, I am so new to Claude Code, but I know I need to get started with a Claude.md file as well as some skills. Prompt me accordingly. Prompt me accordingly to get this all set up so I can be successful in my business and personal life. And you can make multiple, like you can have like over here, I'll show you, like there's file structures we're going to be organizing and building. And you can have like one that you always open when you work on your business. And you can have one you always open when you work on, you know, your personal life. And actually let's do that. So what you're going to want to do before we even submit this prompt is go to your Finder or your File Explorer, right? And decide where you want everything to live. For me, I have a folder within my mainframe called Kimball, and you may have one similar, that's your name, and maybe you have your documents or your desktop on your PC. But figure out where files can live safely that aren't going to be touched. Because what you're going to want to do is create kind of like an AI central. That's what I have. I have multiple of them. And for this video, I'm going to make another one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come into our files, however you have yours structured, right? And you're gonna create a new file. So wherever you want that to live, remember where it is, keep it somewhere relatively high in the stack, right? Don't put it in like a bajillion folders, that way you can find it easier. And then what you're gonna wanna do is just create a new folder. So go to wherever, again, you keep like your main things. Like this is, inside of Kimball, I have like all of my main folders. Anytime I need to manage something that's to do with me, that's different from each other, they all kind of like live in here, whether it's school or finance or whatever it is. So I'll come in here, I'll go File, New Folder, and I like AI Central. That's what I've been calling so AI Central, and I'm gonna do YouTube, and then you just save that. Like once you have that, like all you need to do is just create that folder so you know it exists. It's gonna be empty, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back into Claude, and then we're gonna open up. So like this was closed, but you're gonna click on this little folder icon, the Explorer icon, and hit Open Folder. So once you do that, go and find that file, that folder you just created, and it's gonna be called YouTube Central, whatever you called it. Maybe you called it whatever, and you're gonna open it. And then if you wanted to, just hypothetically, if you wanted one for your business and one for your personal, I would maybe just do like AI business, and then I would do AI personal. And then what I would probably do is instead of, well, you can actually say it's perfect. So now you over here in Claude, you can see that you have AI Central for my YouTube, and then I have my business assets and my personal assets. And what you would really want to do is like open specifically like one of these at a time, like make it the top and not come into the central. But you can tell Claude to put anything anywhere. Like it literally knows your file structure and your name, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, now that we have this open, we can go ahead and open up another Claude session. It probably restarted on me, which is totally fine. Close all of these out. And then now, so now you have Claude inside of here. And usually I would talk to this, but obviously I'm connected to my microphone, so it's probably a little slow and I don't want to mess anything up. Anyway, but yeah, let's do that again. So I am brand new to Claude, but I know I need a MD file and some skills. Prompt me with questions to get that all set up. And if you want it to be like specific, I want to do one for my business, I want to do one for my personal life, you can just say that, like, I want to do one for business and personal life. And then like you could say I have an AI business folder and I have a personal folder, like let's put them in the MD files and the skills and separate things. I'm just going to do one. I'm just going to put everything into my AI business. Actually, I'll put it all into my personal. So I'll just say that. Put all of these files. Actually, I lied. I'm just going to do one overarching one. I'm not even going to like have these files. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. Yeah. So yeah. Put all those files in my AI Central YouTube. And yours would just be whatever you called this file right here. So once you do that, like literally that's like the first thing. And I will just mention this right now. So it has edit automatically. These are these are very important things to be noting in Claude when you start getting into things, and I'll get into them deeper, but just wanted to show you that they exist. So this is the way that Claude works. So you can ask before every edit. So anytime you ask it a question, it will literally not move on to the next step until you've approved it. And so if you're really skeptical about doing things on your computer, go ahead and use that. Edit automatically will do pretty much everything until it runs a bash command or needs to like access like the internals of your computer, like we've already seen. And then you can literally bypass permissions where it will literally just go run all the bash commands, run everything basically to the end until you get an output. And that's great. And then there's plan mode, which is really great for what we're actually the mode we should be using right now, because we're just building, not necessarily building things, we're just planning. And so using plan mode uses like less tokens, and it helps you just like it will think more critically. So there's a lot of slash commands you can be doing too, but don't worry about those. Let's just get into building these two file structures. So while that loads, I'll just say, once again, the MD file, whatever you call it, we're going to call it Claude.md, which is pretty typical in this realm, but you can also call it aboutme.md. Like what it really is like a dictionary for who you are. So it's going to ask you about your name, business, life, goals, like all of these different little things. And it's just going to be able to have that reference memory as we will, so that it can make you, so that for every single output, you get like the desired outcome. Anyway, so it just finished loading. So it's going to ask you a series of questions, and let's go ahead and answer those together. And then once we get those, I'll show you how all of the files are structured and like what this can really start doing for you. So for me, it says, what is AI Central YouTube used for? This helps me tailor the Claude.md. So like right now it's asking you, what is this main file going to be about? Like, is it about you? Is your business? Obviously notice that it's called YT, and so it's going to ask me about YouTube. I'm just calling that so that I know where to come to when I do more tutorials. This really is just more of a generic one, so I can walk you through it. So let's go through and look at these. Right, YouTube channel about AI, personal AI tools, experiments. Yours might have a little bit more, like a little better options. So I'm just going to go up at other, and I'm going to say, no, this is my personal MD file. Ask me about my biz and personal life. So, whatever. And then you can literally just submit that answer. So main tasks, what do you want to do with it? Obviously it thinks that I'm going to YouTube, so I'm going to say other, and I'm going to just say make my everyday workflows faster and simpler. Like the whole idea of this is you want it to get you to ask you want Claude to ask you the questions that will help it really understand who you are, just on like a pretty topical level, but enough that it can like remember who you are when you give it tasks and things. Like if you're a doctor, you don't want to be like showing you that it's a like financial person, because it might speak in a whole different way and it might give you output that you don't really want. So like just keep that in mind. Like the whole point of making this MD file is, who are you? So as long as you can get it to ask you the right questions and you can give it the right output. And if it doesn't give you the right questions, ask it to ask you the right questions like I'm doing, or just tell it. Like in the other, you can just say like, this is me and this is me. But yours should be a little bit more intuitive. And then what's your technical background? So like literally for you guys, I'm literally just going to be like beginner. Like I know nothing. So the first submission, now it's going to go through. It's going to keep asking me the questions. So we'll let that load. So it's going to ask you about your business, about your personal life, whatever you really prompted it to ask you about, like it'll ask you. So what do you do? What is it called? And who do you serve? Right? So for me, I am going to kind of just go on the YouTuber. I run obviously a chief AI officer company, but for this build out specifically, I'm going to just talk about my YouTube channel. And I might say, well, actually, I'll do agency / freelancer. I'll just say other, and I'll tell him. Actually, I'll go back, and I'll just do the YouTuber one. That's great. So daily tools, what are you using? Google Workspace for sure, which you're probably also using. Social media, AI tools, and I am doing a little bit of this. And I obviously Claude Code, but obviously it knows that, so that's a pretty stupid answer. Anyway, personal context. Small team or family involved, side business along the day job, full-time in this business. Yeah. So, well, the YouTube is kind of on the side, but I'm just going to go with the solo operator, even though I do work with a small team, just because I do kind of operate solely in a sense. So it's asking you all these questions to, just get to know who you are. And I'm literally just showing you everything. You can totally skip past this. Like if you're like, okay, it's prompting me, right? Just totally skip past all of me asking these questions, because that could become monotonous. But if you want to skip to the end of when we get through all the questions and the MD files created, that's great. So what's your name and your YouTube channel? I'll just do other, and I'll say everything is branded as Kimball.ai. And then which everyday task do you most want to do with Claude? Scripting for sure, content ideas, and building workflows, email communication draft, like everything. Like honestly, there's probably not a lot of things that I don't want to do with Claude. So go ahead and keep answering those questions. Hopefully I'm not getting too quiet here. No, it looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Okay, so it has everything that it needs. It's got some, you know, all of its context. So now it's gonna go and write the plan. One thing that I just love in Claude is down here on this left corner is like wrangling. So yeah, things just got set up, which is great. So it went ahead and right over here, like went through the plan. So you can see that it popped up with this like plan for the MD file. So, you know, it gave you the context, who am I, everything is branded as Kimball.ai. So like just read through this, make sure it's good. I mean, obviously it's your input, so it's probably good. Anyway, then like it shows you where it's going to be sent. Oh, and see, for me, it's actually AI Central. Oh yeah, that's good. That's right. So just make sure that this file path right here is the exact same thing as, you know, the one that you created it. And then it also created some skills for me already. So all of these slash script ideas, NaN, like are all skills. And then here's the file structure. So kind of how everything will live. The verification, you know, you can always add new ideas and new sessions to this. So once you're good, as long as everything in here looks like you, then you can hit yes, auto accept, or you can say no, keep planning, or you can tell it what to do. But obviously this looks good for me. So I hit auto accept. And you're gonna see over here that the files are gonna start to appear, and obviously go ahead and allow all the bash commands. Once again, these command things that you're like seeing pop up is just Claude's way of, you know, a security mark. It just comes up and it says, hey, I'm making changes like to your files, like to your system. And so do you allow? So yeah, I low-key have never had a problem with accepting a thing. And I looked at them for a little bit, but yeah, so you can obviously see over here, the Claude.md file was created. So there was a folder and then the Claude.md, and then obviously I clicked on that. You can see it popped up over here. So pretty much it looks like the script.md, but this is what Python looks like. You use these asterisks or these hashtags to, you know, notate things. So this is an MD file. What you're looking at right here, that is a markdown file, and it just tells Claude like what it needs to really know about who you are. So then now we're gonna write the script MD, and you can see that like the script is like who we are. And so when it gets ideas and generates things, like it looks at the script and it says, who am I? And so it's building these skills. So that's what these are. This like the ideas.md, like these are all, well, they're not necessarily skills because they don't live in a skills folder per se. But now like it went through and wrote all of these. You can call them skills. Let's call them skills, because now every time that I look up slash ideas, you can see like slash right here. Like I have all of these slashes that I can use. And now I'll have one for email, right? Oh, not in there yet. So it's probably not there yet. But anyway, these live as skills, or yeah, slash commands. So, and you can see your Claude.md down here is being referenced. And that is good. Like you want to see this down here. That way you know that, you know, it's reading your context. So now that we have our MD file talking about who we are, we can build some skills. And also just something you can note, you can have multiple Claude sessions going at the exact same time. So that obviously will help you make you run out of like tokens faster, which by the way, that's something good to know as well. You will have session limits depending on how hard you're using Claude Code and how much context you're using up and how fast you're generating things. I've only hit my usage limits with Claude Code, the $20 version, like 3 times because I'm not doing anything insane like coding apps. And so that is just something to be aware of, that you could hit your limits as you're doing hard things. But that's why it's good to use Claude Code, because I do feel like it uses less tokens than Claude Code work. Anyway, let's get into it. So it's doing a lot of things. Obviously, like sometimes I don't even know what's happening, and it's like, oh, let's do all of these things. But right now, I actually did some random command, and so it went through and created some stuff. Anyway, so they added some MCPs, which I'll get into later, but that just like basically allows Claude to do some things like on web browsers, and it's basically like a connector to apps. But anyway, we hit Claude like /script. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. It might still be thinking that's totally fine. Anyway, that may have been a little confusing. As long as you have your Claude.md file set up, like that's the biggest thing that you need to get going, because then it knows who you are. So let's go ahead and just open a new session, get rid of that craziness, and say, okay, I have my MD file. Now let's build some relevant skills. So you can just go ahead and ask that. In fact, we may even want to, there's a skill file that already exists on the internet, and it can literally just download things by you telling it to. So we can be like, hey, go download this skills making thing, but it's gonna go ahead and start doing its commands. So like I was saying before, let me just clarify that the /script ideas, email, NAN are skills. So those are things that, you know, I can just do and it will automatically do these things, right? So these are 4 solid skills we built to match my workflow. You can just type them in the chat and it will run that mode. So let's just run that one more time so you can see what happens. There we go. Now it's working. I think I just spelled script wrong, probably. So let's get some ideas from me. So it literally went through and said, here, focus area and animations, a specific AI tool. Like, this is the idea that it gave me. So, oh yeah, so it wants me to answer these 4 questions, right? Anyway, so this is an example. I could go through and ask it, like answer those questions. Just, it helps you be a good thought partner. But for you guys, a relevant tool is probably gonna be like an email tool. So like /email, right? We have that here. You probably want to write your email to somebody. You probably want to write your email in a format that's your voice and your style. And so you can go ahead and say, hey, let's build an email skill like this. Let's build an email skill in my voice, etc. Prompt me. And so it'll go ahead and start prompting. Let's build this. It'll ask me the questions. Walk me through a real email you sent. So go ahead and copy and paste an email in there. Who was it to and what they need? You know, you could go ahead and put your email in there. It will read it. And I guess for that sake, we can literally just go here to an email I've sent. And you guys can see something cool. I use a skill to do my emails, and this is what it looks like. It's not just like a regular bland email. It's like actually a HTML email. So you can like go in here and copy this email. Like I wrote all this up and then put it in a template for a project I built. But anyway, you know, go ahead and put that in there. It'll analyze it. So it'll go ahead and ask you your questions. Go ahead and answer those, build the skill. And I'm going to say, just use your best judgment and make the skill. Obviously, you want to be more specific with your skills. I have just already done this, so I don't want to make it super repetitive. But the thing you want to focus on is, does it give you an example output that you like? So just play with it. Say, give me a drafted, here's an example of an email I need to send, like draft it up and then critique the verbiage, critique how it writes until you like it. And then be like, okay, that's a good email. Put that, this is what I want to use in this skill. So it went ahead and made that email thing. So it's going to go ahead and re-update the skill that I had before. No fluff, reference the context immediately, call it the real pain. These are for my work emails. So went ahead, you can go ahead and accept that because it's going to be over here, write the email MD. I liked what I had before, so I'm not going to change that for me. But now you have that skill. So anytime you need to write an email, and yes, for now you can just do that in here. You can just go /email and then it'll go ahead and prompt you about that. And then, once you get sophisticated enough in the program, you'll be able to send emails that for your business that look like this, that don't look generic. And if you want to do that, literally we can get things connected. Just prompt if you want to get adventurous, be like, hey, let's build an email skill that outputs in HTML, and let's connect my Google account to Claude. And then you can start sending your emails directly from Claude Code. But I'll make that another video, but just know that is possible. Literally, this was literally not sent from Gmail. This was sent from it was sent from Claude Code, but it was actually sent from a project I built inside of Claude, an app I built inside of Claude Code. So that's fine. Anyway, so now you have your skills set up, and just the skills are endless. Ask Claude, this is my day-to-day. What are some skills you think I need? And just go ahead and hit okay, I do a lot with Excel. Every morning, and you can start making out skills that are on time. As long as your computer is open, you could be hey, I need you to go through my email, and I need you to, you do have to get those things connected. But if you have a Excel file that you have to look at every single morning, and it's on your computer and it lives there locally, you can be okay, go ahead and sort through this and give me all the relevant information I need for yada, yada, yada. And it can actually literally create Excel files and files on your computer. So just so you guys see that visually, we created YouTube Central, right? We just created this folder. Then it literally created the Claude.md. And inside the Claude.md, we have all of the, not opened up in a stupid way, but inside of this Claude.md has all of that reference, right? Everything we need and all of the skills inside the commands, right? All there. And all of that lives within that Claude.md file on your computer. You guys did not create that file. It exists on your computer now because you told Claude to make it. So to just reiterate that fact, I literally just want to show you guys what is possible with Claude, because you're at the point now where Claude is on your computer and it can do things. So I just want to show you some output, some examples of things that you might want to do. So I'll go ahead and just show you a really good example. New folder. I'm just going to call it messy because I just want to show you that it can clean things. That's a really big use case right now. Claude can access more than just that folder. It can access your whole computer if you let it. So, and maybe that's a good idea. Maybe let's go to my downloads, because honestly, I have no idea what's in here. And let's see if it can clean it up, because I have literally spent way too much time just leaving things in my download folder, and it probably could be cleaned up. So let's do that. Instead of creating something to my folder, I just want to show you what it's capable of. So let's do this. Let's say, Claude, I want to clean and organize my download folder on my computer. Literally just that simple. So yes, you're in AI Central, but it's going to say, hey, I want to go to downloads. And you're going to be yeah, okay, let's go to downloads. And so we'll go ahead and hit yes. And I kind of want to show you guys that this is happening automatically. So I'm going to literally just go things, and then I'm going to go no, literally just a mess over here. And I'll show you that this is happening simultaneously. So I'm going to go ahead and give it access to my downloads, and it's going to start seeing that I have 982 files. And then let's get the full picture before I do anything. So I'm going to say yes. Yes. So here's what we got. 982 files, 33 existing folders, a real mix of school notes, music projects, photos, videos, PDF. Before I touch anything, I want to make sure we do this right. So how do you want to organize the files? By groups, by topic, by both topic folders. And I'm going to say, can you see the oldest files I haven't touched in forever, and delete and put them in a folder called old? Then I will delete them when I am ready. Then do a general clean and sorting. So I went ahead and told that's what I wanted. And then what should we do with the old installer app files? I'm just gonna say, yeah. So like when you install things, they do DMG files, and I'm just like, you don't need them anymore because you have the app installed. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, delete them. So go ahead. What about the duplicate downloads like cameraman? Yeah, any duplicates, like just delete those. Don't need duplicate folders files on my computer. It's just taking twice the space for one file that I need. So then it's gonna go ahead and think. And I'm gonna just show you over here that like things are happening. Oh, yep, you can see things already getting moved. So pretty fascinating to watch. Things are turning on. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. But yeah, this is the fun part of Claude. You can literally just sit here and watch it do stuff. Okay, so updated to-dos, delete. So then it literally will come up with a list and it's gonna go through all of them. And I'm gonna let this one just kind of bypass permissions and do its thing because I've been doing this enough time that I realized it's just gonna run. So now we're just gonna sit here and wait for it to do its thing. Yeah, so we just had it do its plan. I have everything I need. Now let's write the plan. I'm gonna hit auto accept. It's gonna do its thing, but you have now completely installed Claude Code onto your computer. So go ahead and keep accepting the plan. And like I said, I'm gonna let this bypass permissions. And yeah, so now you have the full power of AI. Things can write on your computer. Things can be downloaded from Claude Code. Like literally anything you think you can do with AI, you can probably do. Oh, look at that. And you can see that it's cleaned that up. So like, wow, look at that. It is doing its thing. So it's documenting everything, and maybe it'll be easier to see as a list actually. And I'll go new, date added. We can start to see, oh, yep, look at that. All these things was made by AI today, right now. So, oh, yep, it's taking over my computer, taking over my files. Anyway, yeah, full power of AI, and anything that you think you can do with AI, you can do it in Claude Code. Literally just ask Claude, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And when you do that, you will see that it will, put you in the right direction. You might need some connectors. You might need to go and allow some different things. But in the end, you can really build anything you want now. Literally anything you want. If you need to build an automation that like writes emails for you, you can also get it so that it's connected to your Gmail. And like, I'm going to do a thing in Cowork, which is an easier way to see this all happen. But you can connect all of the things that you work with every single day, whether it's Gmail or Slack or Notion or any of these tools. You can connect them, and then once they're connected, Claude can read them and work together with them and put things in different places and sort and build files. Or if you need to like build a spreadsheet for something, you can say, hey, Claude, I need a spreadsheet for this. It will literally just put it in the folder and open it for you. No more downloading things from ChatGPT or whatnot. And you can just like edit it on the fly in your prompt, in your text box down here. So yeah, just know that like you have the full power to do anything that you want with Claude. Yeah, so I just want to congratulate you for getting that on your computer. You may still be a little bit confused, but just start doing all of your chatting and all of your AI usage inside of Claude Code here. Like you can use one of these prompt just as you could on the web, but it will start to be able to do things you didn't know was possible. And just ask it like, can you do this? Can you do that? Like I have this in my business, or like this is my process. Like you might not even know that there's a solution. You just tell Claude about it and he will make it so that you can use a solution. So I hope that was a simple guide. I hope that was comprehensive and understandable, but just know that like, yeah, you can see here, it can organize your files, it can clean things for you, it can go and find things. I had a file that I couldn't find for 2 hours the other day. Just ask Claude, hey, I think it's called this, something like this. It found it in 10 seconds. So like no more unorganized file structures, no more. And I need to go do this for myself, which obviously this looks great. I should go have this connect to all of my hard drives and just go through everything. But just know this is the future of AI, those who understand Claude Code and more so the file structure and how things are being referenced. So congratulations to getting all that installed and enjoy Claude Code. In the next video, we'll be going over Claude Cowork. We'll be talking about how you can set up automations that actually make your day-to-day workflow much easier, whether that's in personal life or at work. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was comprehensive enough, and have a good day.